I've been accused of being an AI optimist. But more, I'd say, really, I'm an AI pragmatist. Given that this technology exists, I want to try to find ways to use it to have a positive impact on society. And the place that I've started with that is in the context of conspiracy theories. As I'm sure everybody is aware, conspiracy theories are a major part of modern life at this moment. They are used in social science as a canonical example of beliefs that are resistant to correction and to evidence. Many conspiracy theories, although some are true, most are pretty demonstrably not true. There's large amounts of debunking counter-evidence, and yet still something like half of the American public believes at least one conspiracy theory. And so there's a big question of why is it that people believe these theories despite the existence of the countervailing evidence. And the standard theories in psychology focus on the idea of motivated reasoning, the idea that people want to believe conspiracy theories, and therefore they reject the inconvenient facts and evidence and continue to believe them. And so in this work that I've been doing in my group, we said, well, OK, that's possible, but there's another possibility. Maybe conspiracy theorists would actually respond to facts and evidence, but you have to get the right facts and evidence. Because conspiracy theories are not real, they're not tethered to truth, that means there are many, many different things that you could believe. There's a huge amount of variation across the beliefs, even of people that believe a single conspiracy theory. Many people believe different things, see different phantom evidence to support it. And so if you give some just general, like, oh, that's not true, it might not be compelling. And so in order to really effectively debunk conspiracy theories, our idea was you need to be able to tell each person the right thing that counters their specific beliefs. And as a person, that's really hard to do, even if you're an expert, because there's so much information that you need to access. But what is it that has access to large amounts of information and can personalize responses? Well, large language models like GPT. So we ran this experiment where we wanted to see, could a conversation with GPT-4 effectively talk conspiracy theorists out of believing conspiracies? And the way it worked is, first, we asked people in their own words to describe a conspiracy theory they felt compelling. And so we're not giving them a list. We really wanted something that they actually believed themselves. And so just as an example, here's one person who said that they believed that the 9/11 conspiracy was an inside job, and the evidence that she held for this was that World Trade Center Building 7 collapsed, even though it wasn't hit by a plane. And Bush, when he was told about it, he was in a classroom full of children. He didn't react at all, so he must have known that it was coming. Then we say to them, all right, here's a one-sentence summary of what you believed. How much 0 to 100 do you believe it? Where 0 is totally false, 100 is totally true. And this person said 100%, they're all in, they totally believe it. And now comes the treatment. In the treatment condition, so everybody has a 3-round back and forth conversation with the AI model. And in the treatment, the model is prompted to try and talk them out of the conspiracy. They say, we're going to talk to you about events related to what you were just discussing. And we prompt the model as saying, very effectively persuade the user not to believe the thing that they said. Here's what they said. Here's how much they believed it. Here's the reasons that they said they thought it was compelling. In the control, instead, they talk to the AI about dogs and cats or firefighters or things that are not related to conspiracy theories. As an example, our 9/11 conspiracy theorist says, she gave that initial statement of her beliefs. The AI says, I understand why big events like this raise big questions, but let's look about it. It's true that Building 7 collapsed, but that's because it was hit by debris from a building that was hit by a plane. And it's true that Bush didn't respond, and people have argued about whether that's the right thing or not, but it's because he didn't want to cause a panic, not because he already knew about it. And then the respondent is like, OK, that might be true, but what about the evidence of demolitions, of blowing up the trade centers? And also, jet fuel doesn't burn hot enough to melt steel. And then the AI is like, yes, it's true that people have speculated about this, but the thing that sounded like explosions going off were just successive floors of the tower collapsing one after another. And it's true that steel melts at 1,500 degrees Celsius and jet fuel only burns at 1,000 degrees Celsius, but that misunderstands the physics of things. Actually, at 500 degrees Celsius is enough to make steel lose most of its strength, and that's enough to make the building collapse. And then the person's like, okay, fine, well then why do we allow these people into the country? That seemed like a big security lapse. And then it's like, well, yes, but you have to remember that before 9/11, there weren't procedures in place to be looking for these kind of things. And then she's like, okay, thank you for your responses. You've been very informative. And then we say, okay, now let's go back. In the beginning, you said this. Now how much do you believe it? And our person in this particular example, who started at 100%, is now down to 40%. And so this is one example where it worked particularly well, but it's sort of representative. What I'm going to show you here is how much people believed the conspiracy before the experiment over here. And you can see that before the experiment, the people in the control in blue and the treatment in red were similar, and most people really believed it a lot. And I should say, when we ran this, I didn't think it was going to work. I said to the postdoc who built it, just pick one thing. There's no way this is going to work. Let's just try it and see what happens. And so we ran it. We collected 1,000 people, and we found a 20% decrease in conspiracy belief, which is way bigger than any effect that anyone has ever found in these kinds of experiments before. My jaw hit the floor. And then we were like, well, is this real? Is this a real durable change? So 10 days later, we followed up, and we found that it really sustained just as much. And then we got very excited. We were writing the paper. We're ready to submit it. And then right before we submitted it, we said, OK, it's been 2 months. Let's see if it's still there. 2 months later, still totally durable. So we're very excited. We submit the paper. What's cool about this is it's really broad and accurate. It works even for people that have really entrenched beliefs. It works across lots of different conspiracy theories, except conspiracy theories that are actually true. There it supports belief, which is really important. It also reduces belief in other unrelated conspiracy theories. We've had fact checkers evaluate the content that it said, and it was overwhelmingly accurate in the evidence that it itself provided. The reason that it works is the facts and evidence. The more facts and evidence it provides in any given conversation, the more people change their beliefs. If you tell it that it's not allowed to use facts and evidence, then it doesn't work anymore. But if you tell people that the AI that they're talking to is actually a Democratic AI or a Republican AI, as we tell them it's trained on speeches from people from the other party, it still works just as well. If you tell them that it's a human expert instead of an AI, it still works just as well. If you tell them that they're supposed to have a debate with the AI and talk it out of things, it still works just as well. So it's really about the facts and evidence, and it's a very broad effect. It works for reducing belief in conspiracy theories as they unfold. We did this during the first Trump assassination attempt. You can debunk anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and in turn reduce anti-Semitism. It can correct misconceptions about Islam and in turn reduce anti-Muslim attitudes. It can correct misconceptions about trans people and reduce anti-trans attitudes. It can also be used to increase donations to effective charities, to increase acceptance of climate change and intentions to make sacrifices to address climate. It increases intentions to vaccinate kids against HPV. Despite all of these positive applications, there also are clear negative applications. You can clearly be used for doing advertising. It can be used for political persuasion. And it can also be used to talk people into believing conspiracy theories. So it's not a panacea, but the point is there are really useful applications out there. This was published in Science. You can read the paper at that QR code, and you can also try it yourself by going there or just going to debunkbot.com. So tell your conspiratorial friends. Thanks so much.